expecting to, like, be the bride, though? Were you a little disappointed?
I did show... I'm wearing the same thing that I wore last night.
Show it off.
I did show
That's
up like
so
this.
pretty.
So...
And they didn't make
I
you
guess
the
I
bride.
kind of was, like, a little bit expecting to be the bride, but, like, it's fine. My friend Shiloh got to be the bride, and they were very excited about it.
Cute.
So
I love that.
it was cute.
I look like I'm someone's, like, bitchy mother-in-law. Trying to...
Bitchy mother.
Yeah, who's, like, trying to show up the bride because I don't like her. I have, like, too close of a relationship with my son, you know? One of those.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. One of those. Okay.
Anyways, welcome to the Lonelycast.
Welcome to episode 11.
Episode 11.
Woo-woo.
I'm Brittany.
I'm Abigail.
And you're probably wondering why we're dressed up.
Yeah.
We don't have an answer. We just felt
If
like
you
it.
Can, yeah. Honestly, this episode topic and the concept of, you know, our dressing and the fact that we're drinking wine, completely unrelated. Like,
yes.
except maybe to, like, make us feel better about this topic in general.
Yeah, we've been putting this off for a while.
Yeah. Although the break was nice, I was able to have a healthy mental breakdown during that time.
I thought you, like, didn't mean to say breakdown. I thought you were trying to say you had a good, like, healthy mental break from...
No, I was fully spinning out for a bit.
Oh, okay, cool.
Not in, like, in a damaging way, just in, like,
just in a fun way.
It literally had to do with the topic of this week's episode, so...
Perfect. Well, before we get into
Yes.
it, I would just like to state that this dress is too big on me, and I spilt wine all down the front of it. So, not that anyone's probably going to notice, but I needed, for, like, my sake, to mention that.
Yeah, we're all about transparency here.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, how do we want to get into this?
Well, I feel like you might have more notes on this than I do. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so the reason that I picked this topic, actually I might have picked it before, but I went and saw the new Nick Cage movie, Pig.
Oh.
I'm not going to explain what it's about because I went into it not knowing, and it was a really great experience.
Okay.
But there's this scene where there's this chef in, like, a really, like, fancy restaurant that does very well. And he's talking to him, and he's like, I thought that you wanted to start, like, a pub and do, like, traditional English food. And the chef's like, oh, well, like, there's not really, like, people aren't really interested in that in this city. Like, it's all, like, upscale. And he's like, yeah, but, like, that's what you wanted to do, wasn't it? And he got, like, really stressed out, and he's like, yeah, well, I mean, like, I'm doing well now. And he's like, and Nick Cage says, we only get a few things to care about, or something along those lines. Or we don't get many things to care about. And I, in the theater, was like, whoa, we don't.
Nope.
But that scene fucked me up because I was like, just thinking about how I and so many people do have passions and we do have goals, but we kind of do what's either, like, more convenient or more safe. Because, yeah, this guy just wanted to start, like, a cool little pub, but there wasn't much money in it where he was. So he just went this route where, like, yeah, he's still getting to, like, cook or whatever, but he's not, like, pursuing his, like, lifelong goal of starting a little English pub. And it really fucked me up this week because I was like, I'm not pursuing any of my interests or goals, really, aside from this podcast.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about, like, what are my passions and goals?
Yeah.
And what are things that I just like?
Yeah. Okay. Well, did you watch the video that I sent you?
No.
Well, okay, that would have been very helpful for you.
I'm so sorry.
But
I'm
fine.
planning on it. I was going to when I got home, but I, like, passed out.
No, it's totally fine. So basically the gist of it is this whole idea that if we can't discover our passion and like our drive and stuff like that, like we're deficient in some way, or like basically there's like this culture around like you're gonna just like one day magically stumble upon this thing that like you're really passionate about and that like you're really good at and that like makes you money and basically is like the thing that you're meant to be doing for the rest of your life. Like we all have that one thing that we're supposed to be doing, and it will fulfill us and it will bring us to the end of our lives, and at the end of our lives we're going to be happy and fulfilled because we pursued that one thing. So that mentality, he basically said, was like not correct, and like it's very damaging because then that paralyzes us in like a, well, I don't even know what I like, I don't know what I like to do, I don't know if I'm actually good at anything. And because we feel that way, it stops us from actually going out and trying different things. And like the thing is you don't just like wake up one day and have passions, you build passions. Yeah. And so basically what he said was to just like take some notes and just write down everything that you like, everything that you're interested in. It doesn't matter if you're good at it. It doesn't matter if you haven't ever done it before. Like it doesn't matter if it's something super expensive or something that you can do for free. Just write down all of your passions in it, or like your interests, the things that you like. And then just like give yourself, let's say, like a time period or like a chunk of time in which you're going to do something regarding that like or that interest once a day. So like, and it has to be like a healthy amount of time. It can't just be like 3 days and you're like, this isn't for me. It's got to be like 10 days or like a month or something like that, where you're, you know, putting aside 20 to 30 minutes a day and just like doing something. And for me personally, when I think about that, I'm like, oh, that seems like too much work. Seems like way too much work. But then by the end of that time period, you should know whether or not you like it, whether or not it's good for you, whether or not it like keeps propelling you to want to do it more. Because it's this feedback loop of like having an interest, putting in the work to do it, finding out that you really like it and being inspired to do it more, and then that's going to grow into a passion, and then that's going to grow into, you know, like it's this like feedback loop of like action and stuff like that, and like that satisfaction of like not only taking joy in the product of this thing that you've been working on, but like the process of building it. And if that process gives you like joy and serotonin and inspires you more, then you should continue to pursue it, type thing.
I love that.
So that's what the video is about.
She's like, that you didn't fucking watch.
Yeah, it would have been really helpful, but like it's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
No, I love that because I've talked about it in other episodes. I had a lot of friends in like high school and stuff that knew exactly what they wanted to do with their lives. They were like, yeah, I'm gonna take this class so I can get into this program, and I'm gonna do this. And I for a long time envied that, but now I realize that I prefer trying different jobs and trying new things, because like that's the best way to figure out if you're into something or not. Like I'm currently working at a massage clinic, just doing like office work, and like my first few months there I was like, should I get into massage therapy? Like, should I get into this? And I started like researching it and stuff and like asking questions, and I was like, oh, it's not for me. But I'm like, that's the best way to like figure out what you're into or what you'd be passionate about, is like trying, because not everyone has it all mapped out. And I feel like it's not always the case, but a lot of people that like have like a 5-year plan or like have known what they wanted to do from birth, it was kind of like from birth from a young age, out of the time womb. I was conceptualized. I'm gonna be a lawyer. No, but I feel like a lot of that is like just what you were raised around. So it could be like your parents' influence, and like there could be something that like you wouldn't have even thought of because it wasn't something you were exposed to growing up. That could be something that you're like really passionate about. So if like you have always wanted to be a doctor, and then one day you go surfing and you're like, wow, I've never felt so much joy, and you want to like be a surfing instructor or something. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you just got to try new things and see what you're into and what you're not into. And like if you kind of like something, just put a little time into it and it might grow into something that you're really passionate about.
Exactly. You never know until you try. And like when it comes to like resources and stuff like that, obviously like we can't all become like Nat Geo photographers. You know, but we all do have iPhones. Obviously, we can't all become Nat Geo photographers.
You sounded so frustrated when you said that. Wait, what?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, well.
I'm still working in fashion, which actually, I guess, like, this is kind of anecdotal and personal for me, but, like, I think I was in the 9th or 10th grade, I think, when I kind of played around with this idea of working in the fashion industry. I really I remember I had like this like vision that I would go to like the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City, and I'd be able to pursue fashion photography and all this stuff. And I was like super into the fashion industry, and then like moving into Montreal and getting the opportunity to actually work in the industry, I was super stoked about it. And like honestly, don't get me wrong, still is extremely cool to be around all the clothes and the photographers and on set and stuff like that. Like, it's really a cool experience. But one thing that I have learned is that a lot of the industry is just like showboating and like climbing the social ladder, and I don't know, it's just felt very off for me. And it's not that I don't want to work in the industry anymore. Well, kind of is. But, like, I don't know, it's good that I was able to get out there and try it, and, like, I've had the privilege to be able to go and try it, and find out that maybe it's just, like, not for me.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more, I guess, like, I didn't really understand this whole concept of the way that the fashion industry works as seeming, like, so elite and so, like, inaccessible, and, like, so, like, there's so much mystery and like allure and stuff behind it. But then you get into it and it's like, this is it?
Yeah.
Like, this is it? Really? And you're supposed to be so like happy and like proud and like thankful and humbled that you're there. But I don't know. It's kind of, it just feels very empty in a way.
Yeah.
So that's an example of pursuing a passion and finding out it's not actually for you.
Yeah. No, I feel that. That was kind of the, like when I worked at the daycare, I loved it. I love working with kids, like a lot, but it's definitely not something that I want to do every day of my life. Mm-hmm. Like if I don't really want to have kids, I don't want to watch other people's kids my entire life.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, it was something that I had a lot of fun with, and after I left, I was, like, looking into taking courses, and tried taking a course for a while, and I was just like, I don't care enough about this. Not that I don't care about kids. Like, it's a really wonderful experience to, like, watch a kid grow and, like, help them when they're going through like really important development stages, but I don't want to be changing kids' diapers my entire life. Mm-hmm. Like that sounds a little nightmarish. But I was like,
I don't know how you do it.
It's
like there's literally no part of me that enjoys kids. I like my little brothers and that's it. Like that's the only babysitting when I was 13. Fuck no. Hated that shit.
There was time of my life. I don't know if I can say this, but like the parents of the kids I watched years ago, or there's some kids that I was like, I don't really like this kid. Like this kid's kind of an asshole, and then I meet their parents. I'm like, you're why they're an asshole. But there was also kids that just like made me smile, and I to this day think about like I hope that they're doing well. It's tough shit, though.
That's really wholesome.
Lots of shit. Like, actual shit all the time.
Like, yeah, feces.
I remember one day I was gonna... Oh, maybe I'm not gonna share that story.
Is it a poop story?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I love poop stories. Keep telling the poop stories.
Okay, well, this happened in, like, in the span of 2 days. So, like, the first day, this kid pooped, like, right next to the toilet. And I was like, dude, you know where it goes. You made it this far. Come on. And then I think he just started trying to fuck with me. So one day I was, like, cutting fruit for a snack. And I had left him in the, like, they're toddlers. We had, like, an open kind of bathroom thing where I could, like, look around the corner and, like, make sure that everything was okay. And I had left him in the toilet, not in the toilet, on the toilet. And I came around the corner and he wasn't there. And I was like, oh no. And he was across the room, just Winnie the Pooh, just only a shirt, smearing poop into the books in the reading corner. I said, I could walk out of this room right now and just not come back. I could just leave.
I would.
I was like, I had to take a second. I was like, and he was just smiling so big. I'm like, you little shit. You're trying to torture me. You're doing this to torture me. And yeah, that was one of those moments where I was like, this isn't for me. Most days it was like, this is wonderful. Like, just having a kid, like, cuddle up to you and you read them a book. Like, it was really lovely. And then there's days like that where I'm just like, why am I here? Why am I willingly taking care of other people's children? Anyways, so...
Willingly taking care of other people's children.
Yeah, I guess I was getting paid, but...
That's true. God bless the nannies that I had when I was a child.
Yeah.
Because I was a menace, but mainly just because I've always had an issue with authority, like, and that's never gone away.
She's an Aries.
Never gone away. Yeah, we can chalk it up to astrology. And also probably the fact that, like, I don't know. I didn't want to get too deep there, so I stopped myself mid-sentence.
You did a little tongue out? Okay.
I was like, just like
quirky.
A little quirky, hates authority.
You always said quirky at the same fucking time. Anyway, sorry, continue.
But yeah, no, I terrorized my nannies and my babysitters for that fact. I don't think there was ever a babysitter that I did like. I could be wrong, though. I'm sure my mom would correct me on this. But I remember I made one cry because I genuinely... Oh, I was such a mean little kid. I think I just had so much pent-up, like, rage and aggression. But I just, like, basically screamed at her. I was like, I hate you. You're the worst person in the entire world. I did that a lot to, like, my nannies and my babysitters. I think I was just honestly super angry about the fact that my parents were getting divorced, but yeah, it made a lot of authority figures cry in my lifetime. I also made a teacher cry one time.
Oh my god, I hate that, but continue.
I know it's really terrible, but okay, here's the thing. This teacher kind of was like...
The worst.
He kind of deserved it. It was a man, too.
I support. I don't even need to hear it. I'm on your side.
Yeah. I'm a nice person most of the time, but I think that, like, my need for justice is just too strong sometimes. So I had this, like, teacher in the 9th grade. He was a math teacher and also a gym teacher. And he was just... He had been booted out of multiple different schools. So he was teaching at the high school, and then they didn't want him teaching there anymore. So then he came to our school. And then before the high school, he was, like, teaching overseas in London, and they didn't want him there anymore. So he, like, came to, like, small town Alberta. It was just, like, a big... He just kept getting moved around because people didn't like him, and he wasn't a good teacher. And it was obvious because we had him for math in the 9th grade. And here in Alberta... not here in Alberta, I'm in Quebec, but in Alberta, where I was in the 9th grade, we had, like, standardized tests every 3 years to track our progress. So it's called the Provincial Achievement Tests, I think is what they're called, or provincial, it's PATs. Not PATs?
Provincial that sounds right?
PATs,
it's not PTA,
right?
it's
No, because that's parent-teacher.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know, something like that.
I blocked out my
standardized tests that we take every 3 years. So he was such a bad math teacher that none of us actually learned anything for most of that year. Like, we didn't understand what was going on. We made multiple attempts. I was teaching myself math at that point. Like, it was so bad. And our entire class almost failed that standardized test for math that year.
Yeah.
Our entire class. Like, the majority of the class failed. I passed with like a 66% or something like that, which in previous years was not the case for me. He was just an all-around terrible teacher, and he was just so like I don't know. This is gonna sound really mean, but this is gonna stay between you and me.
Just
okay?
Just me and you here, no one else.
Just you and me. But he was like one of those guys that like you just really wanted to like take down a couple pegs. Like, he was a really bullyable person.
That's not mean. There's a lot of men that I want to bully. Yeah. Anyways.
So, and there was this theme of like kids like getting up and walking out of his class, just because they were just so over it. And so it was kind of like our protest. And there's this one time where like 4 kids like just got up and walked out in like one period, and he was standing up in the class and his face was getting so red and he was like shaking. He was like, "You guys are unleashing the bear in me."
Oh my god. Ew. What?
And then I think from like that moment on, it was like between me and like one other guy in the class, I think both of us just like kept expressing to him like, "You're not a good teacher. You need to do better. Like, none of us respect you. I don't know if there's any way for you to earn our respect back again, but like, we're not learning anything." And like, it was those quiet conversations that we had with him after class that like he would just start crying. And like, that's a point where you're like, I don't know what to, like, I'm in the 9th grade.
I gotta get to my next class.
In your late 20s. Yeah. Like, we're expressing to you how distressed we are because we're not learning anything in your class. And you're sitting here crying about it in front of us?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it was so, like, obviously, thinking back on it, he probably was going through a lot. But then there's this other side of me that's like, just quit. Like, just
if you can't handle a few teenagers like giving you shit, then don't be a teacher.
Yeah,
it's not meant for you.
Yeah,
the only class I think I've walked out of was should I say his name? I think it adds to the story. Felicitas.
What?
I say it like he's
That's
a
not what I was
demon.
expecting.
Anyways, he in my high school was a religion teacher, but he was like super religious. Like, he would talk about how gay people are going to hell and like stuff that, like, I went to a Catholic school, but they were like every school I went to was a Catholic school, but they were really good about being like respectful about the whole religion thing for the most part. But yeah, this guy would just go on these fucking rants, and in grade 9 I was put into his class, and on the first day it was chill, and then the second day he started talking about how like his wife his ex-wife talked back to him, so he thought she was possessed, and we were all like, "Bro, what? Can we open the fucking textbook? Like, we haven't, what does this have to do with..." Okay, anyways, and then, like, yeah, I think the first 2 classes were just kind of like, okay, and then the 3rd class, he started talking about how, like, if you're gay, you're going to hell, so I, like, just picked up my stuff and left, and I went straight to the office, and I was like, I'm not staying in that class, so you guys can either put me in another one, or I'm just not taking religion, which I ended up not taking religion. Yeah. A little loophole, if anyone's in Catholic school, they tell you that you can't graduate without taking religion, you can. You just get a diploma that says, like, public school instead of...
the Catholic school.
Which doesn't matter.
Like, yeah, in any other school that's a public school in Alberta, you don't have to take a religion course. They don't even really offer them.
Mm-hmm. They scared me for, like, just, like, my entire time in high school. They were like, you've got to make sure you get it all done. I took the first religion class and then world religion, which I don't even think I completed, even though world religion was awesome. But, yeah, that guy ended up getting fired because he had a student who had 2 moms, and he told her that there's no possible way they could love each other. Like, they're not actually in love. And so she went home and told her parents, and then, like, the news got involved, and he got fired. But he had been, like, a menace for, like, years, because my sister told me stories about him before I went there.
Yeah.
I was like, why?
Jeez.
How do you even let those types of teachers into your school? And then, like, the teachers that, like, fuck students, had a couple of those.
Really?
Yeah, there's one specifically. So we had... It's a pretty specific story. Maybe I can... No, it doesn't matter. We had, like, soccer and hockey academies at our school. Big sports school that I went to because I'm a big athlete.
I was a big athlete.
I took the mandatory grade 10 gym, and she gave me 50% so that I wouldn't take it the following year. Because I would just I'd be like, oh, I have a headache, I can't do this.
Let's be real, though. You were a theater kid to your bones.
Yeah, why? Yeah, I would faint in gym class. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You come in with those figure skates that, like, you can get at the drugstore. You're like, I can't participate. I'm so sorry.
I give myself a black eye with, like, stage makeup. I'm like, I'm concussed. But yeah, so we had those academies, and there was this. He was still there when I was in high school, but this had happened like 5 or 6 years prior, I think. What? Yeah, but he was like the girls' soccer academy coach, and those academies, I think they met like every day. Like, it was like a pretty serious thing, very intense. And he was like very close with this one student of his, and I think people like joked about it, but like it was just like, this is my student that I see every day and whatever, so people kind of brushed it off. But I guess like directly after she graduated, they moved in together. So they had been like seeing each other for a while.
Oh my god.
Isn't that fucked?
That is fucked.
Yeah.
Well, and what's weird to me is that, like, when I was in high school and junior high and stuff like that, like, I had teachers that were my age.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, the thought of me going into a high school and, like, teaching kids, I'm like, I feel like I should be, 20 years older, Like,
yeah.
It feels weird and wrong. And to put, like, young men in that environment around all of these teenage girls, I'm like, that should be illegal.
Yeah, it feels...
That should not be allowed.
We had this one student teacher, he was a student teacher for my class in grade 10, and then he ended up getting, like, a full-time position there. So, like, by grade... Like, super friendly, but, like, I'm pretty sure was only, like, a few years older than us. And it felt so weird, because it was, like, he's, like, our buddy, but, like... I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess, like, you're getting into it, and, like, I understand student teaching, okay? But, like, having a full-time position there, like, just weirds me out. Because, like, I would, like... I just remember in, like, grade 12 going to a party and then going to a McDonald's and seeing him there because he had just come from the bar with his friends. And I was just like, this feels weird. Like, I feel like you're our age, but you're, like, this adult that's supposed to be, like, teaching us.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Feels like a weird...
He wasn't weird at all. Let me just clarify.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Like, not at all, but, like, just...
Okay.
It just felt... It felt weird because I was like, this... He's, like, a few years older than me, it feels like.
Yeah, it just seems like one of those things that, like, shouldn't happen, but, like, obviously does, because it needs to, because...
They need to be taught to, like, do it, so...
Yeah.
But, yeah, I hate... But, I mean... How many movies and shows are there where there's a trope of, like, the hot English teacher, and
Yeah.
it's so like normalized and it's gross.
It is gross. And as someone who has gone into classes in university and either have had a crush on the TA or the professor, I'm not ashamed of saying that because they were all very wonderful people.
Yeah.
But
there's just like
nothing ever happened.
Yeah,
there's an allure to it.
Yeah.
But in high school, no.
Mm-mm.
Fuck that.
I don't know. There's just like this power dynamic there that like there's no way to like explain. Okay, have you watched Pretty Little Liars?
No, but I have watched Gossip Girl.
I've seen parts of. I want to rewatch that. But anyways, okay. Do you know like you know the trope that like there's this girl dating her high school teacher or whatever, right?
Oh.
Oh yes. Oh, you're seeing like the like top half of my head.
Well, yeah.
You're like, that's all I need to see. Don't show me the rest.
I just need to look at your brain. It's fine.
There's like a little screen.
Yeah.
But like, so they make it like kind of not weird because they like meet in the summer before she goes into grade 12, I believe, or grade 11 maybe. I don't know. I don't remember.
Ooh.
But like they meet before, so it's not like they're like a teacher and student that fell in love. Like they hooked up and then she came to class on her first day and she was like, holy shit. But they still end up being together and it's just like, blah.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, oh, he's just like a hot teacher, so everyone's like, this is cool. This is my dream. I'm like,
I understand. Yeah. Serena in Gossip Girl has a similar storyline. But I don't know, like, no. It's not a dream for me. Maybe in university. I think it would be super sexy to date a professor.
But, like, not your own professor. Because I feel like there's still a weird dynamic there. It's like if you decide you're not into him or something.
Know. I like maybe I'm just, like, a bit of a kinky bitch. But I don't know. Like, I would like the sexual tension in the classroom. Like, if I just kind of, like, sit at the...
Okay, I get that. But I think my brain just goes to, like... If you get in a fight or something, he fails you. And then you're like, fuck, yeah, I just spent like $5,000 on nothing.
No, I feel like I would be able to convince him and be like, no, like, then just look at my work. I would even go into it being like, this has absolutely no impact on my grades in the way that you treat me as a student, but...
She spelled this out.
Not me going back to school just for the potential of that to happen.
You're just like joining and dropping classes and like checking out the professors.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm exploring my passions, and my passion is sex. Sexy professors.
What can we say? That's my passion.
I'm
dropping you for a second to pour more wine. I've got her propped up on a bottle of wine. Copper Moon.
I should also grab some more wine.
Okay.
And I also kind of need to fart, and I don't want to do this in the middle of recording, so let's take like a break. Okay. Should we segue our way into something? Something.
Fucking teachers. I think the lesson here is don't become a teacher if you're just wanting to have sex with students.
Yeah. Yeah, please. No.
We keep things simple here on the Lonelycast.
On the Lonelycast. We keep things crystal clear.
This is so loose. Can I do an outfit change? It'll take me 2 seconds. I know what I'm going to throw on. I'm going to throw on another dress.
Yeah, while you're gone, I'm going to tell the people about the secrets in my life.
Okay, I'll replace myself with a puppet.
Okay.
There you go.
Perfect. All right, well, now that Brittany is gone, we can have a one-on-one, just you and me. This is our first ever one-on-one. I'm feeling a little bit shy, a little bit nervous about it, but I just kind of wanted to spill the beans to you guys. I have so many secrets swimming up in my head. It's so hard to keep them all together. There's all this talk about teachers and stuff like that has brought my thoughts back to my Gemini lover, who I appreciate and adore. And I recommend any person who is single and not really looking to date or get into a relationship, but still has sexual desires and needs, to invest in wonderful sex toys that really fill your soul. Honestly, I don't regret any of them, and I love spending my free time that way. And B, find a lover, someone who will have sex with you, and only you, but no intention of having a relationship outside of that fact. It really is a life changer, and you're not going to regret it. And Brittany is back now.
Did she just give you guys my social insurance number? She always does that.
No, we were talking about sex.
What?
Yeah, I was telling them how all this talk about teachers has made me think about my Gemini lover. But I didn't elaborate as to why.
Okay.
He wants to be a teacher eventually, but he's very respectable because he's a couple years older than me, so he's like 25.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm just like not ready to become a teacher yet. So he's like hasn't gone back to school or anything like that. He's like, it's not something I want to do yet. And I feel like for the teaching profession, that's such a respectable thing, because like when you have someone who's 18 who's like, I want to be a teacher, and then goes into school and they're like 18, and then they're like 20 years old, 21, like going in and like teaching high school or something like that, or being like a student teacher or something, like props to you, if you're respectful and good at doing it. But like, that's not how I want to spend my 20s, like trying to teach people a couple years younger than me, you know,
because you're like still figuring it out. And also I just feel like people who end up doing that burn out really quick because they're just doing it their entire lives.
Well, and I feel like teaching is one of those professions in which you can find a position, like, because your practicum is, like, necessary. So you're going to be in the job. And then pretty much as soon as you go out of it, you're going to be able to find work. Mm-hmm. It might not be the best work in the entire world, but, like, teachers are always needed and necessary. Yeah. But, like, you're thrown into life so quickly. I would love to have an actual teacher on the podcast and be like, what, are you fulfilled?
I could arrange that.
I could also arrange that. I think my friend Shani, she lives in London now. I think she moved to London to become a teacher. But,
yeah, we're looking to get guests and stuff on the pod pretty soon, but
yeah, eventually.
When we feel like it.
When we feel like it. When we have the motivation.
I've been tweeting quite a bit, and a lot of it's just consisted of like, hey, we're going to record today. We changed our minds. We're going to record today. Maybe next week.
You know what? As long as we're not getting paid for this, I will.
Honestly, love each and every one of you. What do we owe you?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a little treat. I'm just kidding.
Exactly. It's our treat. It's your treat. It's everyone's treat.
We're just here to hang out.
Our thoughts, our minds.
You're welcome.
That's what we're marketing here. Oh, I also was going to comment before you changed. Obviously, we were matching our wine choices. Me with my white wine and my white outfit, and you with your red wine and your previous red outfit. And yours is a little bit pink now, so like it's good. But
yeah,
we were matching.
I was just too sweaty. And also that dress was too big. I got it online. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Or do you usually drink white wine?
No, actually, I think I prefer red wine. I drink white when my Gemini lover comes over.
Do I know this Gemini lover?
No.
Okay.
I did have a Gemini lover in Edmonton who you do know, but...
Who?
I can't say. I'm pretty sure he listens to the podcast.
What if we block it out? Like, cover your mouth with your mic, and then, like, can you beep it out?
Oh, yeah. I'll just go like this.
Oh! I forget that happened. Ugh, I love that guy.
I know.
Of all my friends, glad it was that one.
Yeah. No, he's honestly, like, pretty stand-up. I'm not gonna lie. And I love Geminis because we're so compatible and we can, like, talk for hours, so it's, like, not just, like, a really awkward exchange that happens. Yeah. It's actually kind of, like, a nice social event that happens.
Abby's teaching me about astrology and crystals.
Okay, speaking of passions, I think that, like, if I think about all the things that I've been interested in and have enjoyed doing in the years, like, I love photography. I really do. And I love the podcast, and I've loved writing, and I've loved, like, making playlists and stuff like that. I think that, like, my number one passion, just because, like, it's something that's continuously just, like, grown and I've just gone deeper and deeper and become more and more obsessed with, is spirituality, astrology, and tarot. And I think that in the society that we live in today, people often will, like, hear that and they'll be like, you're unhinged and the reality that you live in is fake. And I'm like, well, maybe, but also, like, I love astrology and tarot as a way, like, as a tool for, like, self-reflection and, like, just pouring back over, like, things that you might have missed and, like, deep introspection, and it can bring healing, and, like, that's what I love. So I do have one passion that I can actually successfully name a passion. Everything else has been, like, interests that I really, really like, but also, like, making playlists, I guess, would be another passion. So those are my passions.
Well, I think astrology is cool. I personally just don't get it much, but every time that I, like, read something that's meant for my sign, I'm like, this is spot on, or, like, I don't know, I'm interested in it, but I get it.
Yeah.
I think that movies and just, like, film and stuff are kind of my biggest passion. It's just, like, what I do the most is, like, watch movies and shows, and I talk about it the most. And I would, like, love to direct a movie or write a movie or just, like, be a part of creating a movie. So that's something that, like, I'd like to get into. I just, like, I don't know, like, I would love to write a movie, but I need to be inspired for it. And that's what I need to remind myself, is that, like, I'm not going to just sit down and write. Like, I have to, like, have inspiration for it and, like, have an idea, and then, like, something will come out of that. But I'm pretty bad for being, like, if I can't create something right this second, and it's fantastic, then I'm not good at this thing. Yeah, I think movies are top for me right now. But it used to be music. Like, growing up, it was music. I thought I was going to be a pop star. But I can barely have conversations with people, so I don't know about me performing on a stage. I think the extent of my music, like, I'm very passionate about music. I grew up just with my dad being really passionate about music, so it's very important to me, but wouldn't be able to write a song at all. And that's just an idea that stresses me out. And also, I love karaoke, but I wouldn't want to, like, actually have people pay tickets and come and watch me, because that would make me just have a panic attack. So that's where I'm at.
Brittany, can I tell you something?
I guess.
I'm literally sitting here, I'm, like, imagining a life where we just, like, have, like, a house in like this beautiful place, and all we do is just like work on like our passions and hobbies, and we just like inspire each other to like grow and become amazing people. How cute would that be?
Okay, so when are we booking tickets to Halifax?
Literally, I'm just waiting for you at this point.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I just signed a contract for a job though, so
yeah,
we're gonna have to postpone a little bit, but I'm definitely on board. No, like ideally I would be able to just make a shit ton of money and then live in the woods and just like write.
Yeah, we have to start investing
and saving.
I feel like
I can't do that very well.
And saving.
But...
Me neither.
Whenever I get a little extra money, I'm like, tattoo?
Yeah. But back to the writing thing, I think that like maybe this can just be like a little like Lonelycast challenge. We once a day just take like 10 or 15 minutes out of our day just to like write a little something, and for you it could be like more film specific, whether that's ideas for like different short films or like feature lengths or something. Because writing is something that I've also wanted to get back into. I mean, you know my history with my fan fictions and
her very, very good fan fictions.
how much I love that. And like I've always loved writing, but I don't know, I fell out of reading and writing like I think in high school when I just started to get distracted with everything and the world. So I think that maybe you and I can like challenge ourselves to like every day just sit down and like write, even if it's just a little diary entry about our day. And I feel like that's gonna feel so good and like so releasing in the end. You know?
I forget where I was. I either read it or watched it or listened to it on a podcast. But a lot of people fell out of love with reading and writing during school, because it became so like you're reading this book that you don't give a shit about, and then you have to analyze it, and it just becomes like a chore and not fun. And it was a woman, of course, because why would I quote a man? But I need to stop making those jokes because men are gonna think that I like him. I don't. I'm just being an asshole. But anyways, she was just saying that like, if you fell out of love with reading, don't start with this novel by a philosopher that everyone's read because you think that it's cool. Like, you can start with like the sort of books you read in like junior high and stuff, like the books that made you fall in love with reading. Because if you try to start with a book that's too intense, you're just gonna like skim through it or not finish it and then be like, well, I hate reading. And it's like, you don't hate reading, you just like fell out of love with it and you need to get back to where you did fall in love with it, kind of thing. Yeah. So love that.
Might I also make a recommendation for anyone who's looking to get back into reading? I feel like the authors who actually got me back into reading in like an adult way, who I still read like constantly. I'm reading Murakami right now, but it was Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle. Cat's Cradle is a really easy, stomachable read. And like it's just really good. You can burn through it so quickly. What's another one? Murakami. Which Murakami did I read? Oh, I can't remember, but he has a collection of short stories as well called The Elephant Vanishes, so it's really nice to like kind of cut it up into little pieces. That's a good one. But like there are ways to, you know, pull yourself back into reading, and Vonnegut honestly was the one that really did it for me. And I'm very thankful to my friends who recommended Vonnegut to me, because amazing author. Weird, definitely has his moments. I think both him and Murakami have like heavy ancestral tones, which is like you're reading it and you're like but aside from that, like their fiction is amazing.
Well, like finding an author that you like or just rereading books that you used to be obsessed with is a good way to start. And Actually, a little book recommendation. For those of you that like fantasy books, I find that, like, hey, I love The Lord of the Rings. I will watch the movies anytime. They're like my sick day movies. The books are fucking hard to get through. And it's because, like, what I think it is a lot of fantasy authors write things as though you understand what they've made up. So it gets a little confusing, and, like, you have to go back and be like, wait, what does this word mean? Oh, it's a tribe of people, or it's like... But I've recently been... my coworker, he's not even my coworker anymore, because that's how long ago he lent me this book. I haven't finished it because I don't set enough time aside to read. But I'm getting close to finishing it, and I really, really like it. It's called Mistborn, like the series is. It's by Brandon Sanderson, I think. But he's really good at just, like, keeping it interesting but simple enough that, like, you can follow along with his imagination. Because I feel like fantasy authors kind of struggle with understanding that the reader's not in their brain. Like, we don't know this weird thing that you've made up. Anyways.
Well, and I feel like our retention as well is just, like, in our generation and stuff, and, like, younger people, our retention is just not as big as it was. So, like, maybe, you could have the whole introductory paragraph that The Hobbit has, and, like, then just go forward and, like, tell the story, and everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, back, like, 20 years ago, but that's not how it is now.
Sorry. I have the Eagles as my wallpaper, and I don't know his name, but I'm just gonna slide my photo booth over because he's staring at me.
He's staring at you?
Oh, that looks like my ex. Let's slide that back over. Oh yeah, I changed my wallpaper. Anyways. I'd love to write some more. Maybe we should just get back into writing fan fiction. Get back to our roots, and then build from there. Our roots.
I don't even know who I'd write fan fiction about. Like, who?
Norman Reedus.
Now as an adult, who would you write? Lord of the Rings?
Norman Reedus?
What? What did you
Daryl
say?
Dixon.
Oh.
Norman Reedus does kind of sound like it could be in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Well, and I just heard Norman Reedus, and it sounds like Lord of the Rings, kind of. So I was like, Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I'm, like, really hot for Frodo. Can I say?
Yeah, fair enough. I feel like, who do I still, like, thirst over? It's like, I'm like, oh, I would love to run into you in the street. My problem is I don't write fan fiction about characters, which would be safe. It's a good safe bet, but I like to write fan fictions about actual people, which is creepy.
I was writing fan fiction about real people. I was writing it about One Direction, so it's not creepy.
Yeah, but, like, if I do it in my adult life, I feel like it would still be creepy.
Well...
Yeah, it would be. Just admit it. Right, do you?
No, I don't. Because, you know, some people are very talented authors, and they just really like certain characters, and they make great content.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I think that I might be out of my fan fiction era. I'll give it a go. But I think I just need to take that, like, once a day, just, like, 30 minutes or whatever, to, like, sit down and write things out. Because there are parts of my life that, like, I want to, like, expand and, like, exaggerate on and, like, be able to spin into novels and stuff like that. Like, I want to be able to do that. But, like, the prospect of writing a book is so nerve-wracking. It's okay. Bless you, by the way.
Thanks.
It's so nerve-wracking to me. Like, I don't know.
Well, like, even when I was really into writing when I was younger, I could never, like, finish anything because I was just like, I don't know what a good ending would be. But I have one of those books from, like, Chapters or something, like the Finish the Story books. And, like, each page is, like, a little prompt. And I've kind of fallen out of it, but for a while there, I was, like, every day I'd wake up and I'd, like, write a little story using one of the prompts. And I think that's like a good way to just build up to like actually having an idea and writing something.
100%, yeah. It's true. I just love to get my emotions down from my brain.
I just like to sit in my bathroom and listen to sad songs, and that's how I get my emotions out.
Yeah. Speaking of sad songs, have you listened to the new Clairo album yet? No, I haven't either. I think I might tonight, now that I've had some like wine and I have the day off tomorrow.
Yeah.
I might just do it to myself.
I don't really listen to like albums much anymore, which I want to get back into, but I just kind of like hear a song that I really like and then listen to it for like 2 weeks, and then like lately I've just been listening because I was reminded of the song in a show I was watching, Harvest Moon by Neil Young. I listen to every morning.
Yeah.
I'm on Fire by Bruce Springsteen. There's a cover of it in Pig, that movie with Nicolas Cage. Everything ties back to what I'm watching, so.
I love that. I love multimedia. Ugh. I'm so excited to go to LA with you.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I really gotta start saving.
Yeah, same. I'm relying on like my whatever logistics. Yeah. But like going to comedy shows and stuff, like I really want to go to like cool comedy clubs and just like watch people and like get a cool Airbnb, and I want to try and do it as cheaply as possible too, so maybe we can even hostel it and just like stay in a hostel and just like fucking go to comedy clubs, and that's all I care about.
That's the goal.
Go to the beach maybe once,
like for next year, because once I start this new job and I'm like we're just like planning, like there's not a camera here, that we're not recording the episode. No, but I'm working towards that for sure. I want to save up as much money so that we can go and do those things actually.
100%.
I just recently went to a stand-up show, Chris Locke. You should watch some of his videos later. I saw him like a year and a half ago.
Is he Edmonton?
I'm not sure where he lives. He's Canadian, but he was down for like a little comedy festival here. I saw him like I think a couple of years ago, and like cried laughing, and followed him on everything, and like once a day I'll see a tweet from him and just like laugh out loud. He's just so good. But yeah, I got to see him a couple days ago, and I like peed laughing. It was so good. That's the thing though, like I feel like I'm not a huge stand-up fan because when it's not like great, it gets a little awkward. And I just hate being in that room when it's not going good.
That's like one of my favorite parts though, I'm not gonna lie.
You like when it gets awkward?
I think that I'm like just like a little bit like that's so funny.
I can't.
But I don't know. I feel bad for them, obviously, but like I'm just like, this is just part of it, and I love that it's just part of it when someone fails.
I like,
and also if someone is just kind of like a dick and they don't get any laughs, that just feels really good.
One time I went to it was like what's the word when you can just like show up and like do the show? It's like an open mic. Yes. Yeah. I was like, I got open. What's the second word? But I need to stop hitting my mic because Abby's gonna murder me later when she listens to the audio. I went to an open mic and everyone was like, okay, just trying out jokes, but there's this one guy that just like came up and started talking about how like women suck and just like was telling like super misogynistic jokes, and the whole room was silent. And then the next guy got up and was like, well, really happy I'm leading after that guy because he's like, I don't have to do much.
That's true.
I feel like people who don't like stand-up have only seen stand-ups like that. Yeah. That are just like really like dirty, cheap jokes that like aren't that funny.
Yeah. Well, and for a while there, like I would say like I can't listen I can't listen to podcasts that are all done by men, and I can't watch male stand-up comedians. Because every time I would turn one on, it would just be like the biggest shitload of ignorance and just like unfunny shit that like I wouldn't even say I'm a super sensitive person, because I definitely have a tendency to say stuff even myself that's kind of like questionable. Yeah. But like I would just be watching that, I'm like, this isn't funny. Yeah. Like it's just like it's
not clever. It's just like what can get like a quick like haha.
Yeah, and just like I don't know, the whole like making fun of people constantly is just like, it's not funny to me. Yeah. Because like I feel like the only people that deserve to be made fun of are like huge assholes, and like, you know, like that's funny. Like, but there's so much comedy out there that's just like, let's kick the fucking underdog and like make them feel like shit for being like, you know, less cool than the rest of us. And that to me is just like so uncomfortable, because it's like, dude, you're kicking them while they're down. Like, you can't. Have you seen,
what's her name? Ann Coulter, I think.
Isn't she an author? Ann Coulter?
No, she's a piece of shit. Ann Coulter.
Oh, okay.
She's just like this conservative with like really horrible views. Yeah, it's Ann Coulter. But they did a roast. Okay. And she wasn't even the person being roasted, but everyone just you should look it up after your laugh. But everyone just went in on her, like, because it's like kind of mean, but like still kind of friendly. But everyone that came up to talk about her was just like, why is she here? Someone made a joke about like she should kill herself, and it just got so dark. It's so funny because it's like everyone was like having a good time, and then it'd come to like her name, and they would just like get super angry and just say something really, really mean, because everyone was like, why is she here? Oh, I'm gonna watch it after. Oh, no. It's so funny. Some people deserve to be bullied. I've said it before, I'll say it again.
We've said it on this podcast.
I stand
the
by
lonely
it. The
Lonelycast. Sorry, guys, I've had like quite a bit of wine.
Yeah, I'm halfway down.
That's the point of this episode. The Lonelycast does endorse bullying. I'm gonna look straight in my camera lens. The Lonelycast does endorse bullying.
I just hit my mic. I'm so sorry.
When it comes to bullying those in positions of power and assholedom.
Is assholedom a word?
Thank you. Nope.
We're making up words here.
We are making up words.
We're getting a little crazy. No, I probably sound like a massive asshole. I'm against no hate. No hate. Like the NOH8, the tape across the mouth. I fuck with those guys. However,
no hate.
I had to specify which one.
Stop the spread of hate campaign
by duct taping your mouth. Anyways, yeah, I stand by what I said. If you're a teacher who fucks students, I'm bullying you.
Come to the roast of the teacher who fucks students.
I get him on the podcast. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine now.
Yeah, I was saying that we should have that teacher on the podcast. I'm like, we just want to interview you about your career choice, and then we get him on and we're like, you fuck your students?
Yeah. But we have to like slowly like prod. Like he'll never actually know why he's on the podcast, and just be like, is there something that you really like about the feminine form? Were you really into the novel Lolita as a child?
What do you think of Woody Allen?
Opinions on Harvey Weinstein? Dark. Okay, you know what I found out this week? Obviously we all knew that Winona Ryder and Johnny Depp were a couple. Beautiful couple at that. Like,
yeah.
Very sexy. But Winona and Johnny Depp met when Winona Ryder was 17, turning 18, and he was 27. I know.
Dios mío.
Dios mío. And it's one of those things, like, I literally, there's this girl on TikTok who does, oh, she's amazing. I can't even remember her username. But she did this, like, deep dive on Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder's relationship. She also did one on, like, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and Jennifer Aniston and all of that. Like, you know, it's just, like, the Hollywood goss that, like, everyone really loves.
I think I've seen this girl, but
yeah, she's fantastic, right? But I watched the Winona Ryder Johnny Depp one. They basically had this, like, amazing love that was, like, so short-lived, but, like, so, like, they were soulmates, you know? Like, that was, like, it.
Yeah.
And then you, like, look at their age gap and you're like, but this is not okay. And then you look at their relationship and you're like,
I didn't know that.
And the way that, like, Tim Burton described Johnny Depp after they broke up was that Winona had his soul. Like, Johnny Depp has never been the same after that relationship and they broke up. Like, Winona had his soul. And he's just always just now been, like, basically, like, a mental case. But, like, yeah. I know.
That makes me really sad. But also, ooh. That's so, oh, fuck, shit. Well, okay. How do I defend this? When I myself have been the 17-year-old.
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, and, like, the thing is when you're in it, you're like, oh my god, this is everything. This is the love of my life. Blah, 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 blah. And oftentimes your older counterpart will not have that same mentality, you know? Like, it's mostly about this power dynamic and, like, oh, look at this young girl I have, like, like, it's like, it's just gross and, like, masked in, like, misogyny and patriarchy and stuff like that. And so that's where it's like, you never really know, like, Winona and Johnny Depp were so private about their relationship, so you don't actually know the dynamics of the relationship and, like, how it was meant to be, but, like, I think that you can tell from, like, the hurt and from other people's experiences with the couple, like, it was never like, oh, I've met this young lass, and she is making me young again, and blah, blah, blah. You know?
She's making me young again.
But, of course, like, we never actually know the true story, but, like, it doesn't seem like one of those cases. It seems like you just met someone and you were like, that's my person.
Well, that's the thing about, like, Hollywood and stuff, though. I feel like people that wouldn't typically meet in, like, regular lives meet in those situations on, like, movie sets and stuff. And it, like, as sad as it is, those younger people grow up so fast when you're part of that industry. I don't know. Like, I mean, I have to say it's still weird just because I would be very hypocritical if not.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Damn. It fucks me up. Yeah, that was that one relation. Like, there's, like, when I was on Tumblr, back in, like, high school and stuff, there was always those gifs of, like, them seeing each other for the first time after the breakup at an award show and, like, looking at each other and, like, smiling. And
I know.
I was like, that's real love.
Their relationship was only, like, 6 or 7 months, hey?
Yeah.
Which I'm like, how? And I don't know what it, like, I mean, she was so young. That's the only, that's the thing, is she was so young. Like, thinking of myself getting into this whirlwind relationship with somebody and, like, getting engaged at the age of, like, 18. No, I don't want to marry that person. Like, way too young. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want to be. And just Winona Ryder's story in general, I fucking love her. And the way that she was blacklisted from Hollywood. And just, like, I don't know.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like Brendan Fraser being blacklisted.
Yeah. And, oh,
it makes Hollywood seem, like, Hollywood already is, like, dark and scary for sure, but, like, hearing stories like that, I'm just like, it seems so fun from what you see. Like, people just winning awards and just being able to live these, like, glamorous lives, but I'm like, it's probably so fucked up.
It's so dark. It's so dark.
Yeah.
That was another thing in the Brad Pitt episode. Oh my god, this woman on TikTok needs her own show. Like, this is how I'm consuming her content. She's fucking
We need to get her on the
amazing.
show.
But in the Brad Pitt like segment that she did, she like went into depth about Brad Pitt's life and how like initially when he had started like booking roles and getting success, this was even after Fight Club and stuff, he basically just locked himself away and like drank and smoked weed and like completely like shut down because his adjustment to the fame, he didn't want it at all, and he was so depressed, and the only thing that pulled him out was like going to some impoverished place to like, he was like, oh, I have it so good, I should really appreciate this more. So it's kind of like one of those sob stories where it's like, check your privilege. But I mean,
Well, it's like
when I was psyche is complex, right? So
yeah, when I was younger, I was like, being famous seems fucking awesome. Like, I want to have a bunch of fans. I want people to know my name. But I recently watched an episode of of Ride, which is Norman Reedus's show on like AMC or something. It's just him like hanging out with his friends basically, or like just driving around on his motorcycle. But he has this episode where he's in Spain, I believe. And they're in like a market and they just get like bombarded by fans, and then he's like he was outside like taking pictures with them, and this one girl was like sobbing and like so frantic, and she's like, I need to kiss you, can I kiss you? And he was like, sure. And it was just like so intense. And then like they're like, okay guys, you gotta move, like we need to get through here. And he drove ahead a little bit and they chased him and like broke his mirror on his motorcycle, and were just like surrounding his motorcycle, and it was like super dangerous. And he just like moved on like it didn't happen. And I was like, that would send me into a panic attack, and I would be locked up in my hotel room for a week because that's so scary.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's like what people who've been in the industry for that long just like deal with.
Yeah.
But I was watching the episode and I was like, how is he so casual about this? I'm like, I would be freaking the fuck out.
No, and like that's where it's like, I mean, the psyches of celebrities have to just be out of this world, you know, like that's just not normal. Like that attention and that like craze and like the level of danger that you're constantly in just for existing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like the idea of paparazzi.
No.
Like the amount of times
No.
The amount of times that I've seen articles where it's like, this celebrity lashed out on the paparazzi. It's like, no, the paparazzi have been sitting outside of their apartment for like days and are like shoving cameras in their face. I would probably break their cameras.
Yep.
If I was in that situation, I'd be like, back the fuck up. But it's like, you have to talk to them a certain way, or then everyone thinks you're an asshole.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're the assholes.
100%. It's just,
there should be like a rule that they have to be like a certain amount of feet away. I don't know.
it's true. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's not something that I desire or want. By the way, Brittany, can I send you like a list of all of the YouTubers that I really think that you would like and send them to you?
Yes, and I will do the same.
Okay, cool.
Sorry,
also,
I
my
dropped
AirPods
you.
are at 5%.
Oh, so we gotta wrap up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so our passion is to be celebrities.
Do not say that. That is cursed.
No, not at all. That's literally the last thing I want. If we have 5 people listening to our podcast every week, I will be so content.
Literally. 100%. I think we do at least have 5. I've had enough feedback on my end.
Yeah, I love each and every one of you. Mwah, mwah.
You're beautiful.
Yeah, but I think my final thoughts would just be to just try things, and like it might be a hobby that you think is like not gonna make you any money or not be something you do the rest of your life, but like still put some time into it. Like spend time enjoying it. And yes, that is my final thought.
Yeah. Honestly, just like if you have a deep urge to go out and try something and do something, listen to yourself. And you might not have the motivation, but like all it takes is like that action. And I think that like one of the biggest things that I have been trying to teach myself and keep up with is when I feel this like deep call to go do something, I genuinely have to force myself to go do it sometimes. And in the end, I always end up a little bit happier because of it. So I don't know. If you have passions, if you have hobbies that you really like, the best course of action that you can take is just a course of action, really. There's no plan. There's no like eventual goal. It's just to do something, anything. And that's what you should take away from this.
Yeah. And this podcast is an example of that, because no matter how much self-doubt we might have every now and then, this has brought me and Abby closer together, and we also have met some really cool people like over the internet and just in like real life over this. So I think that's cool.
100%.
It's fun.
It's fun.
But yeah, if there's anything specific that you guys want us to talk about, I'm always on Twitter, so tweet me, or DM us on Instagram, and we appreciate the support.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Oh, shout out Doug Hoyer,
and
intro,
Mal.
outro music, and Mal for our graphics, and Abby for being spectacular.
Oh, and Brittany for being sexy.
What?
Okay.
We will see you guys next week, or the week after, or the week after that. Depends how we're feeling.
True.
But we love you all. Bye.
Bye.